This Saturday night, live on Netflix, I have a live comedy special. Live. It's going to be live to the whole world. And it's 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Texas time. Woo! It's live from San Antonio, Texas. And I am fucking pumped. I have prepared for this probably more than anything I have maybe in my life, but definitely in recent memory. I've been going at it hard. I'm ready. I'm pretty excited. And this is part of my preparation. I'm fucking excited.
So it's finally here, the wait's over, the podcast god returns to comedy with his magnum opus, the man famous for Fear Factor, MMA commentary, DMT and not understanding jokes, as well as leading the infamous Group of Six. I'm speaking of course about Joe Rogan, the man who's famous for everything but his own comedy. He just brought out his new special on Netflix, Burn the Boats. Of course that's the name of it, because nothing says comedy like David Goggins. I'm surprised he didn't name it Good, like that Jocko Willings video. This is his 8th long-awaited comedy special, made 6 years after his last special, which I think everyone knows fucking sucked. So was it worth the wait for his audience? Well, it's the lowest rated one according to IMDb, worse than his first special, which is bad considering all of his other specials are rated about the same as each other, which is like a 7, and this one's just hovering around a 5. It was above a 5 when I first saw the reviews. The last time I checked, it was a 4.9, and that's how we're starting this. Also, what kind of AI write-up is this for a special? Joe Rogan's stand-up special, after 6 years, features him delivering jokes and comedic material over the course of his performance. Yeah, that's what a comedy special is. Did the AI also write his jokes, too? Seriously, who the fuck wrote this? He's at most 2 of those bar stools behind him. One bar stool is 75 to 85 centimeters. 2 of those would be between 4'11" and 5 foot 6.9, so not even 5'7". I believe he claims to be 5'8". I'm not really sure, but now we know it's definitely below that. Another thing that I noticed, though this was during the performance, is what's happening under his shirt is pretty hard to miss as the special goes on. If you're taking so many pills and steroids that you lactate through your man tits, maybe don't wear the brightest shirt you can find. I'm just looking out for you. He put about as much thought into this outfit as he did his content. Maybe that's a bit harsh because I think he actually did try, which is obvious because he hasn't lost a step, and what I mean by that is he hasn't improved at all. He still doesn't know that saying you discovered a new thing isn't a joke, especially when you don't even have a punchline. He tells these stories and just says, oh, that's some wild shit. Just save that for your podcast where you can bring up some random shit that isn't related to the conversation you're having with a guest and bore them with it. The only thing that I liked is when he ended that Chinese dead body story by admitting that he's short. So I'm glad that Rogan also could tell that he was looking really short.
And I'm not just saying that so I hope they don't kill me. I really hope they don't kill me. But if they did, it would be a funny way for me to die. Like if I went missing and then 4 months later there's a short guy at the museum with a microphone.
And that's the best part because the rest of the special is just old shit you've heard a million times. COVID, trans people, and conspiracy theories, and I think everyone's done with at least 2 of those things. I don't even want to hear the word COVID anymore. It's not funny anymore. Here's the COVID. I agree, it would have been funny if he died from COVID, but he didn't, so it's not funny. When people were dying and this was relevant, maybe then it would have been funny. But not anymore. This whole special should have released 4 years ago, or at least 2 years ago, if you wanted any of this to be relevant. Remember when Tim Dillon released his special 2 years ago? The jokes about COVID felt old even then. The only comedian who made COVID jokes that were even remotely funny was Norm Macdonald, and he did it during the height of COVID.
I wasn't going to talk about the coronavirus. But on the way here, I got really ill.
Even his observations feel old, like everyone's made that observation that villains in movies used to be cross-dressers at one point, or how guys view lesbians thinking they can change a lesbian. That's been around longer than I've been alive.
I could fix her.
These were groundbreaking bits back in the 80s. It's like everything about the time of this release has been a fucking train wreck. Another thing that hasn't changed is his annoying voice. He sounds like he's yelling almost the entire time, which is something that he uses to make his jokes sound better, but in the end what he's saying isn't a joke. And it's not like he's saying anything that's profound to make up for that. It's not at all like what he sounds like on his podcast, if anyone was expecting that. He's more reserved on his podcast, he doesn't display a whole lot of energy, and this is why people think he's authentic, because he's not overly performative, but that's how his comedy comes off. He sounds like he's trying to be like Seinfeld, but with Sam Kinnison's delivery, which is an insult to Sam Kinison. I don't know where this ranks in the list of his other specials. It's so hard to rank them because there's nothing that ever stands out. All of them are the same mediocrity that the previous one was. This one might be worse than the other ones because there wasn't any stool fucking in it, so many people are disappointed that he stopped doing the one thing that people wanted to see. I wanted to see how he'd innovate the raping of those stools. I'm not sure we're ever going to get any more stool content. I think Rogan realizes that Me Tooing those stools is no longer acceptable in modern times. It looks like the woke has gotten to him, it met the wall and crumbled it, but just because he's decided to stop diddling chairs doesn't make up for what he's done to them. Rogan's done more damage to stools than Tim Dillon and Amy Schumer combined, so it might be below a 5 on the IMDb scale, but it's a 10 on the Gringo Papi scale, which is more important, so please check it out, everyone needs to see this. We've allowed comedy to get to this point, so I think we should all be subjected to this.